v.h.s.x? What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I wanted to have a reaction discussion about a video from TruelyDaDumbest titled Fixing Weak Killers Dead by Daylight. And they're specifically going to be talking about stealth killers, which I have a lot of experience with, as you can imagine. So I wanted to talk about it, listen to the takes, kind of see what kind of improvements we can add to these stealth killers. And if you want to watch the original video that covers other killers, it'll be linked in the description. I'll just be talking about stealth killers today.
Now, I know Michael just got a rework not even like a month ago. It was like, I think 2 weeks at the time of recording this, maybe a week and a half-ish. But I feel like there's a lot of parts of his kit that are a bit undertuned. You know, stuff that could have been improved upon, or stuff that was just needlessly limited for no reason in particular. Starting off with the first change, remove the stock meter depletion. Now, I don't know how many people know about this, but if you sit idle with any sort of stock in your stock meter, it'll deplete over the course of 20 seconds, which I think is just a ridiculous little hindrance. Like, there's no reason in the world for that to happen. I think that's an unnecessary change. I think you should be, I guess not rewarded, but I don't think you should be punished for holding your stock or holding your tier 3. As for this...
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. Why are we getting a depletion for that? That's really weird. Like, what the heck? Isn't the whole point of using Myers and his kit is to be able to pop up on people and catch them off guard? So by having it deplete, it kind of removes the ability to actually, oh, I don't know, pop up and be scary. Like, that's like his whole thing? He pops up and he one-shots you. Even in the movie, that's what he does. Like, what? Why are we removing this? This isn't right, man. And if you guys want to hear my thoughts on more about the Myers rework, I have many videos on the channel. I'll have one of them linked at the end.
Second change I made, increased his stock range to 36 meters from 32. Now, I feel like the nerf to his stock, or the buff he got to his stock range initially before his rework, was very nice. He felt absolutely fantastic with it. I don't understand why they decided to nerf it. Like, it just kind of feels like an...
Yeah, I agree with that point too. The fact that they reduced the stalking range to 32 meters is kind of sad. Like, I wish it was a little bit like further away, but then also charge a little slower, I guess you could say, like in comparison to now, where it's like it's instant and you pop up on, like, you're on somebody's back and it stalks really fast, and then you have your slaughtering strike, and it's like, okay. But like in any instance of Myers, like in any movie, he's usually pretty far away when he's looking at people until eventually he pops up and causes you know, starts to raise hell, in other words. So what, like, why did we take that part out of him? Like, that was one of his most, like, that's what he always would do. Like, I don't understand. So weird.
Unnecessary nerf. If you ask me, Michael's one of those killers that should not have gotten nerfed upon rework. Obviously, I did not bring it back up to 40 like it was beforehand, because I did not include any sort of add-on changes with this video. This is purely just the base kit.
I like the idea that 36 is there. It's like, it's not too far, not too close, it's right in the middle, so it can kind of lean a little bit more into the far away stalking kind of thing, which is what I liked a lot about the character, is that it felt very lore accurate, very accurate to the source material as well, and then they kind of reduced it, and it feels a little shitty, in my opinion.
So going with the idea that they wouldn't nerf the add-on to compensate, which they usually do because they're ridiculous, it would probably be about 48 meters with that. Nonetheless, though, I think the base should probably be 40, but just because I wasn't doing add-on changes, I decided to maybe tone it back a bit. As for the third and fourth change, though, I decided to add something something new, to give it a little more something interesting. Firstly, hits in the stalker mode fill the stock meter by 25% of its current progress.
I think that this would be a really good add-on, but I don't know if it, like, to put this in the base kit. You know, to be honest with you, I would put this on Ghostface as a base kit option. So, like, but instead of it being like stock meter on survivors, it would be cooldown. I think that would be really cool. So, like, if you were to hit somebody and down them with, while maybe if you get down to Mark Survivor, you get like a bit of a bonus, or like maybe if you're like if you're in cloak mode and you M1 somebody, you get like a portion of your power recharged. That would be kind of nice. So it like leans into the sort of like jump scaring kind of part. Maybe you can get more if you injure somebody who's like, well, obviously if you down somebody, I should say, what they're marked, you should probably get like a lot more progress back. And then you can have an eerie add-on that completely, you keep the eerie add-on so that it like instantly recharges your thing from the start or something. But that's a Ghostface thing, not a Myers thing. So
The idea behind
kind
this
of
change
on topic.
was to kind of incentivize getting those little early game stealth hits, so you get your power faster. Now, obviously, it's 25% of the current progress. So if you have 0% stock, you'll get 25. If you have 75% stock, you'll get whatever 25 to 70% is. I'm not sure. I'm not good at math. As for the fourth change, downs in Pursuer mode build the stock meter by 25% of its total progress. Basically, just in a
I like this level of math and implementing like percentages and stuff like that because it adds a little more depth to the character's base kit. I don't like percentages and perks, but I do like percentages and base kit abilities and stuff like that. That is always fun because you're being rewarded for doing your job. You're being rewarded for doing what you're supposed to do. So if you're downing somebody or you're hitting somebody while you in stock mode or whatever the heck mode, and you're getting rewarded, it's like, that's good. Like, that's nice. That's what you should have when playing a character like this, because you know it's supposed to help you understand, like, okay, I'm supposed to do this thing. I'm being positively rewarded for doing X, Y, and Z thing, so I'm gonna do it again in the future so I can be rewarded again. Like, that's how you teach people how to do things with gaming and stuff like that. And in this case, it will teach people how to play Myers in a way that wards them and also adds on to what makes the character kind of scary, keeps it lore accurate, and keeps the character interesting too, because then there's like different ways to play it.
incentive to use Pursuer. That's really what it is. And this is 25% of total progress, so no matter what, it'll be filling up 25% of the way. I almost thought of doing 50%, but I feel like that would have been too much, made it a bit too easy to get power. This is just downs. First one is hits, second one is downs. So you kind of, I want to incentivize switching between the two more for chase. So you stock a little bit, you get the hit, you get a big amount of stock, then you switch over to Pursuer, you down the person, you get Evil Incarnate, hook the person, you pop Evil Incarnate. And then once you're in Evil Incarnate, reduce the cooldown of Slaughtering Strike to 2 seconds was 6. Because 6 seconds, I'm just going to be honest, feels like shit. You miss an attack, you miss a Slaughtering Strike because the range is ridiculous, and you have to wait 6 seconds. That's overkill in my opinion.
I kind of agree with that as well. That is a good point. I think the cooldown's a little too long in my opinion. I think if they reduced it to like maybe 5 or 4, it would feel less shitty. Because like a character even like Chucky, or even like, I think if I were to compare, right, Chucky and Pig, I would say you can reduce, like, the cooldown doesn't feel as bad because you get right back in the action pretty fast. But a character like Demogorgon, it feels very stiff and annoying because you're like stuck there, and then you have to like swing your hands, and then you got to recover and then get up and start looking around in comparison. And I think leaning into what makes Pig's recovery feel like a lot better, what makes Chucky's recovery a lot better, is that you feel, at least like, just because the animations and stuff like that, it feels a little bit less terrible. And there's also the aspect that if you hit a surface, like for Chucky is a good example, like if you hit a surface, like you don't have that falling animation that you do if you whiff, because it does take a couple more like I would say a couple frames longer than it would to recover with another character. But if you hit something, it'll reduce some of those frames because you're hitting a surface instead of like whiffing the air, and it makes you feel a little bit less terrible. So at least if you miss, it's not going to be as bad. And maybe it'll feel a little bit nicer. But yeah, 2 seconds, maybe a little high. Maybe a little high, but you know, it depends on what kind of cooldown, I guess. But yeah, 2 seconds is not too terrible. Maybe 3. I would want to meet in the middle and say 3, so that, you know, they can at least argue that it's not too bad, not too fast, not too slow. Just right in the middle, so that it feels good, but is also, you know, will give people an opportunity to kind of get their bearings in a lot of ways. Because I know that if it were like 2 or something, the complaining will begin, and then it'll increase 12 seconds or something. Annoying behavior. So I would say let's just keep it at 3 or 4, just so that, you know, the complaining doesn't overwhelm, you know, the character, and then we end up getting an even worse change.
I honestly think that there really shouldn't be. I think the cooldown should be less, but just in case if it's too oppressive, 2 seconds. I think 2 seconds is more than fair. But that'll be all for my changes for the shape. If you guys, obviously, if you have any thoughts on them, leave them down below. If you have any ideas to buff maybe a little bit more, leave them down below. Moving on to the second killer in this death category, the pig. Now, the pig also got buffed recently. I'm well aware of that as well. But once again, it's the pig. She's gonna need buffs no matter what. So I just came up with 4 fairly simple, but stuff I think should help a lot. Firstly, we have increased the crouch movement speed to 4.2 meters a second, was 4.0. Now, unlike Ghostface's crouch, where you kind of just go into it whenever you want, pig actually, it takes a second. You can't just like pop an M1 right out of crouch like you can with Ghostface. You actually have to switch between the modes. So I think it's fair that she gets a little bit of a movement speed increase, especially since she got that buff to her crouch speed. It'll allow for more, I guess, off-the-cuff plays in chase, which is something she really needs. She needs a lot of help in chase. On the topic,
I will say that's not too terrible. I do think that, at least according to Dress and Bubba, who I would consider one of the best pig mains in the community, is saying that pig is in an okay spot. I would like not like, I mean, still a weak killer, of course, but does not need any drastic changes. I would say that like a small change like that for quality of life, I think is a perfectly fine change. I think that it would be completely okay. Especially because, remind you, this killer can only take 2 hits to down people. So the character walking faster, I don't think is going to be that crazy.
of helping pig and chase, increase ambush dash duration to 2.4 seconds, was 2.3. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I've had so many instances playing the new pig with the ambush where I just barely don't get the hit. Like, if it was an extra 0.1, 0.2 seconds, I would have gotten that shit. But because of that little short duration, I don't get it.
I gotta say, I agree with this change too. I mean, like I've said, any like slight quality of life changes would be perfectly fine. According to, like, at least from like what I've seen with pig and what I've seen pig mains are capable of, a lot of it is just slight little changes can really make a lot of difference with this character. So 2.4 I feel like is a perfectly fine change. I really do not think that is really going to be super controversial to suggest. I would say like 2.4 versus 2.3, basically the same. You're probably gonna get 1 extra meter. Like, that's not going to completely like make pig like an S tier by the next day. Like, it's not, and it keeps pig in a good spot, so that's good.
That's basically what I want to fix with this. I want to make it a lot more consistent. Make it so survivors, they can't just hold forward and counter your power. They actually have to kind of think a little bit. Kind of like the main problem with the Knight's Guards, in my opinion. As for the third change, delayed ambush dash activation sound. Now, it's kind of hard to describe, but basically, instead of a low growl that leads into a roar, it'll just be silence and then roar once the power pops. So survivors, they can't ready themselves for it based off just a roar. It's just that roar. So they...
I mean, yeah, I do agree with this to an extent. I do agree with this. Now, if Druss and Bubba at some point ends up is somehow sees this clip or whatever have you and can kind of give his own perspective on this, that would be really helpful, because he definitely has a lot, way more experience with pig than I do. But just going off of like what I've understood from the character, what I've seen, you know, stuff like that, just going off of my research, from what I understand, like the sort of audio does offer a bit of a mind game, because from what Druss says, it's the vibe check. You can do the growl and then stand up for a bit, kind of see if they stay. If they don't, then you can just kind of go from there. So it does alter a little bit of how that sort of mind game works. However, I don't know. I can't. I'm not sure if it'll be the right change. Now, I think on paper it sounds fantastic because it at least makes the ambush dash feel a little bit more like an ambush in that sense. Well, like it can kind of pop up and you probably don't know what's coming in that kind of sense. And I think that could make the character a little more lethal. I do envision though that we're going to get a lot of complaints if that ever were to be a change, that all of a sudden they don't know when Pig is dashing and now she's so broken and now she needs to be nerfed or something. So at this point, like, you know, the community doesn't, like, I don't know, man. They don't surprise me anymore. So when it comes down to it. So that is, I would say, like, verdict being, I would say it might be a good change.
Have to react immediately, and if they mess up, they get a hit or they get down. And on top of that, to also play into the crouch state being a bit more unique than Ghostface's, added the ability to vault pallets and windows in the crouch state. Now I know with the Kursu and Chucky and so many others, vaulting pallets are usually a bad thing, but the idea behind this is you vault over it and you stay in the crouch state. So you can't immediately pop ambush, you can't immediately M1.
I want to hear the thoughts of a Pig main. If Druss or somebody else who mains Pig as well, anybody who mains Pig, please let me know in the comment section. What do you think about a change like this? And me personally, I wish more characters had the ability to vault pallets and windows, in my opinion, because I think it will provide at least another option against God pallets, or provide another like gameplay option for mind games and things like that. Because I feel like a lot of the options that we have is with the killers are pretty much like pallets here, have to break it, and then I gotta go over here now, and then I have to decide if I have to break this one next. Versus like, okay, well, let me crouch, vault over this, and then see what I can do from there. Like, can I ambush from that, and then maybe create a new tech or a new play or something like that. That I think would be quite interesting. Now, obviously, with the Crossu and even with Chucky, like both of them having been negatively received for having some ability like this, highly doubt this would ever be added to Pig. But it would be nice to see.
You just vault over it. It's basically a way to counter God pallets as Pig, just making it a little bit easier to deal with those kind of things. So that'll be all for the Pig. Here are all the changes here, same with the shape. We're going to go ahead and move swiftly on to the Ghostface.
So I'm ready for this, because you guys know full well I've spoken about reworks from SK, Shrouded Ghostface, and even like talking about like 2v8 Ghostface as well. Like we've seen multiple different perspectives on this, and I want to offer my own perspective in its own separate video if I can, or even cover somebody else's perspective on it too when I get the opportunity. But now once again we're going to hear another pitch for what a Ghostface update could look like. I'm excited. Let's dive in.
The Ghostface, in my opinion, besides Trapper and Skull Merchant, is the worst killer in the game. He has almost no chase potential. He gets easily countered by any sort of coordination, and he just kind of feels clunky to play. Now, this is the most amount of changes I've done for a killer in.
I agree 100%. I agree. I 100% agree. As somebody who's been maining Ghostface for as long as I have, and even going off of what like top 10 Ghostface, Shrouded Ghostfaces has stated, SK has stated, like we're all equal, and we all like agree, this is one of the worst killers in the game. Like genuinely.
This video. So we're gonna get right into it here because we got a lot to go through. First and foremost, increased crouch movement speed to 4.0 meters a second was 3.8. Similar to the Pig, just wanted to make it a bit faster. Since, you know, like I mentioned with the Pig, you can kind of just go into crouch, into stand without having to click a button or with a delay or anything.
Yeah, I like the increased movement speed with crouch. I think they did increase it in the last patch they added to Ghostface. I'm not sure by how much. I can't remember because it's just like such a small difference that it really does not matter. But yeah, like it's I would say anything that increases his crouching movement speed, I would say is like a positive change. Like I know a lot of people like to crouch with him around the map. I don't really recommend it. I always say just use pig if you're gonna do that, because it's just like you're just going to lose a lot of distance, especially with this character when you can walk and be cloaked. Like I think that you can focus a lot more on making distance and getting into good positions. Then you would want to focus on just crouching around because gens are always going to be quick. Every second counts. Like you really want to be able to get into position as quick as you can. And obviously, if you're taking the right paths, of course, like you don't really have to worry about being crouched, unless you're on a big map that's very open. Then obviously you just kind of have no control over that. Like you're just going to get spotted no matter what. And I've seen that even on the survivor perspective. Like you're like crouching or not, like you're gonna get spotted. Like a lot of the maps are just that big, that wide, like no cover. Like you're just going to get seen anyway. It's like it doesn't even matter. I would just say focus on getting into position.
I felt not making it the same speed as pig would be fine, but I still want to make it more usable as like a general traverse tool, or not traverse tool, but a general stealth tool. On top of that, reduced reveal range to 28 meters was 32, just making it so you don't get revealed as often.
I love that change. Thank you so much for suggesting it. It's really incredible to see this. I didn't even think that this could be I didn't even think that this would be a change. I was thinking about the add-ons we have, the chewed pen and the lasting perfume or something. I was thinking about those where it's like they were like it takes longer to reveal, but to reduce the reveal range is a nice change. I like that. That's quite nice. That's a really cool thing. Because then it kind of makes people have to kind of close the gap for the character, and because the character already does not have any speed or map traversal, having them needing to be a little bit closer could help him a lot with maintaining pressure. So that's really nice. I like that idea.
Survivor in Timbuk fucking nowhere, looking at you from around a corner. On top of that, we have hooked or downed survivors can no longer reveal the Ghostface, because I can't believe this is still a thing in the game. I think you should be able to hook a survivor and then immediately pop stealth and approach whatever generator or whatever aura you saw.
I agree. I would say that having to walk a certain distance away from hooks or even around down survivors really does help out a lot. Now, the only thing is that they're probably not going to add it for down survivors because they're probably going to say behavior doesn't want to have slugging or something like that, most likely. So they're probably going to say only for hooked or something like that. Or maybe they'll add it so it takes longer to reveal, but they won't prevent any revealing at all. That might also be in the cards for the character. But yeah, like one of the things that I also talk about, I should talk about more, I think, is like when Ghostface players start out, like they tend to cloak up right in front of the hook, and then they end up just getting revealed anyway when they're new, and having to walk like a certain distance and then hide behind something and then cloak is usually how it goes. But without the complaints coming from the other side of things, and just if it were up to me, like if I could have a change, like this would be one of them. Like this is a nice change I like a lot, because the reveal mechanic is very, very buggy. So like it's just nice to, if there's a way to like circumvent some of that like headache by just like not getting revealed in the first place, like that would be nice.
It feels really bad, especially considering the 32-meter reveal range. You have to be out of the way just to be able to pop power after a hook. It feels bad. I know the two add-ons that increase the reveal duration by 3 seconds are a thing, but those add-ons are fucking useless if you ask me. So I think it should just be base kit. Speaking of base kit, made drop leg knife sheath. I can't speak at all. Drop leg knife sheath base kit, because Ghostface.
I always hear this a lot, and my biggest concern with trying to make drop leg knife sheath base kit is that they're going to reduce the amount of haste you get to 5% or something like that, and then they won't give you the 10. And if they do that, then it's gonna make Ghostface objectively weaker unless they were to give him something else. to compensate. But like, if they were to just basically be like, okay, let's change drop leg to do something completely different, make that in itself just base kit, bada bing, bada boom, I would love it. I go, hey, cool. I don't have to worry about that add-on slot anymore. I can bring something new that can maybe be more interesting. But just like knowing how behavior is, I'm concerned with drop leg knife should be coming base kit, because I feel like they're going to add something to it to make it even worse to play as, and that's not something we need on this character that already, as stated in the video, feels clunky to play. And as I've stated, the reveal mechanics suck. Like, it's just super terrible to deal with. So I agree, but I'm hesitant.
He needs chase. He's similar to Onryo or the pig. He's not great in chase, so I thought making this with base kit would be great. Just the flat stat increase, 10% movement speed for 5 seconds. And to make it even better, while chasing an exposed survivor, gain a 5%.
I agree with this too. Thank you. I am so happy that somebody says this. I like this a lot. While in chase with an exposed survivor, gain a 5% haste status effect, and then lingers for 3 seconds. That is nice. And I've seen a lot of people suggest this as well. Like and I've even suggested as well. It's like, why not take elements from Myers and apply it to Ghostface, where like if you're chasing a marked survivor, you vault faster, you walk faster, like you break faster, like, you know, like, because canonically, right, like, you know, as much as I am a Scream fan and stuff like that, and I don't really like the character because of, I just wanted, I wish it was a Scream license, but that's a whole nother discussion. Anyway, lore wise, if you read the add-ons and stuff like that, you can see that the character gets excited the closer he gets to people finding out that he's the killer, right? He gets a lot of excitement from that. That's one of his key things that you notice. Like, depending on the rarity, the rarities differ. So for Brown, it's like the least likely that he gets caught, versus like Iridescent being literal evidence that it's him, that he's the one who's wearing the mask and he's the one who's killing people, like the driver's license, like this, that, and the third. Like evidence, like that's something that excites him. That's something that he always likes to do, right? And he becomes stronger because of it, because those add-ons are so strong. Like, the logic is there to be like, okay, if he's gonna like mark somebody, make him break faster because he's excited and the entity fuels him, you know? Like, he can vault faster and like, you know, he like runs quicker because he's like, yeah, I want to get this guy, like, you know, and he's like riled up, you know? That even like lore wise, having a bonus when you mark somebody like just makes sense lore wise. Like, it just works. And if you're curious, just, you know, check the add-ons. Like, they actually tell you, like, with each one, it will tell you like the evidence, you know. Even like Chewed Pen, for example, it was like you have a little bit of his like DNA on it or something, and it was like if they found this out, then they would know he did it. Or, you know, the Ghostface Caught on Tape add-on or something is like legit a tape of him, you know, doing the thing or whatever the heck it was. So like it works. This would make sense in so many ways, and I'm surprised we never got anything for it.
A status effect lingers for 3 seconds. So on top of Drop Like Night Sheath, you'll have 5 seconds of 10% movement speed, super boost, and then it'll go down to 5% after those 5 seconds are done. And then once chase is over, you have an additional 3 seconds. Just to give him more consistency in chase is essentially the idea behind this. And then finally, and this is a change that I thought long and hard about, it's kind of ridiculous, so stick with me here. While under Shroud, the Ghostface becomes partially translucent. I made a little visual guide to give you an idea of what I'm envisioning with this change. It's pretty funny looking, but essentially it's like a half-cloaked Wraith.
Oh, okay, so the opacity is a little bit lower. I kind of see it. I kind of see the vision. I'm not too sure how that would work, but I do see the vision. I do see what we're kind of going with here. Maybe it could help him kind of blend in a little bit so he doesn't get like seen as quickly, and then therefore can get better stocks. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how it would work, but it is interesting.
Bottom half, for the most part, will be entirely translucent, and then the top half maybe a little bit more translucent, but that wasn't what I came up with, or that wasn't the idea behind it once when I was the, you know,
I don't
when
know
I was
how that
creating
would
this whole,
work, but it's
visual depiction. So
interesting.
basically, just if he's far away, it's a little bit harder to see him. You gotta pay a little bit more attention. If he's crouching behind a wall, you have to pay a little bit more attention. Just making it so you have to pay more attention to it. You know, you have to be aware of the situation. But with that being said, that's all for the Stealth Killer guy.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. If you want to watch the the rest of the video, it'll be linked in the description. But let me know your guys' thoughts about these changes to Myers, Pig, and Ghostface. Which ones you agree with? If you disagree with any of them, let me know. And while you're down there, go ahead and check out the links to support the channel. Consider becoming a member or joining the Patreon for exclusive perks and content. And consider following on TikTok and Twitch for more content and to watch me play Halo Live. I will see you guys in the next video. Appreciate you guys being here. Check out the other videos and check out the members at the end here. Well, I wanted to go ahead and take some time out to thank all my members from Patreon with Crow King 101, my YouTube members, Majora Jeff, Endire, Evil Peachy YT, Zero Mocker, Christian, Hex Dev, and Crow Vader, and for my Twitch subscribers, Cake is the Road, Danica 2002, Final Girl _ Bunny, Acklefin, Chili Cinderace, Zero Mocker, Ginsburg, Johns 117 _ Lovely Ghost TTV, Jar TTV, Zazabu, and Crow Vader. Just wanted to thank you guys. And if you also want to have your name read off at the end of every video, make sure you join on one of these platforms to get one of those perks, as well as the other perks you get. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much.